just me. Oh, the desert dreams of a river. Wash down over me. Won't you take me from this valley to that mountain high above? I will pray till I see a smiling face. I will pray to the one I love. Oh, the outcast dreams of acceptance, just to find pure love's embrace. An orphan longs for its mother. Won't you hold me? Won't you take me from this valley to that mountain? I will pray. I will pray to the one I love. Oh, the caged bird dreams of wind that will flow beneath her wings, like a voice longs for a melody. Oh, Jesus, carry me. Won't you take me this valley to that mountain high?
Well, last night I dreamed I went down to the office to get my payday like I done before. Them old kudzu vines, they was growing right up through the doorway. There was leaves and grass growing right up through the floor. I was born and raised at the mouth of the Hazard Holler, where the coal carts rolled and rumbled past my door. But now they stand in a rusty row, all empty, 'cause the L&M don't stop here anymore. Oh, I was born and raised at the mouth of the Hazard Holler, where the coal carts rolled and rumbled past my door. But now they stand in a rusty row, all empty, 'cause the L&M don't stop here anymore. No, the L&M don't stop here anymore. Said the L&M don't stop here anymore. Thank you. How's it going? Thank you, thank you, thank you. How's it going out there in TV land? What we used to call TV land. I'm not getting my comments. I'm just looking at my dumb self. I'm gonna cut it off. I can't see my comments, and that's okay, I guess. I love talking to them once in a while, though, in between songs. So I'll just pretend that I can see their comments. And we usually have some folks tuning in from places like Sweden and Mexico and Australia and Canada and lots around the United States. So it's really fun for me to reconnect with some folks that I don't get to see, obviously, because I cannot go on tour, including you guys out there in the live audience tonight. Give yourselves a hand for coming out tonight and bearing this craziness. Thank you. Yeah. Sometimes you'll see me do that where I'll have a high key and then I'll lower this cheater. My grandfather called this a cheater. And so the capo is really what it's called, but it is cheating. It allows you to only, it allows you to be able to only play several chords, which is what I do. I'm a small bag of tricks, but I lowered it a half step, and because I immediately knew that that key is too high for me tonight. So I was like, I'm gonna lower that a little bit so I can actually do a good job. We just got a beagle, new dog in the family. After a year of not having a dog in the house, we finally broke down and got adopted a little beagle. And we're still trying to figure out a name for our new beagle. Anybody got any good ideas, let us know. She's a girl beagle, and we thought that she was going to be real skittish and scared because the people we adopted her from, the foster folks, said that she's real, she's real scared, and but she's been going crazy all over the house, and her and the cat are getting along to some degree, as well as a dog and a cat can. Eddie thought, after hearing about it, he thought that Ellie Mae is a good name for her. So maybe we'll see. I am in motion. I am blue. Love is an ocean. I'm anchored in you. And I am a dreamer. So you sent me away. Sometimes we dreamers, we just get in the way. But I've always known, since I was a child, that the road is my home, and my spirit is wild. Yes, it is. And I have my memories, and I've got lots of time, and I'm still in San Francisco, with you on my mind. I said I'm stoned in San Francisco. Thank you. Yeah, I don't do all that anymore. It's been a little while now. I did enough of it back then. And days go by a lot longer now. But I feel better. Tell you what, though, it wasn't that hard to get over the pot, but the hard thing to get over is cigarettes. And it's really hard. It's really, really hard. I'm doing it, but man, I dream about it all the time. So weird, man. I wake up and I've been smoking in my dream, just man, it's so bad. I remember talking to my mom when she was, she had stopped smoking like 35 or 40 years before when we were talking, and she said, "I still want one, honey. I still want one." It's one of those things. This is called Catoosa County. I turned 17, spring of 1861, and I killed 20 men before I turned 21. 20 olds and 20 men, 20 holes they is buried in. There they lay in the cold red Georgia clay of Catoosa County. I can hear the screaming, I can smell black powder burning. The cannonballs flying and the Gatling guns are turning. 1,000 souls, 1,000 men, one big hole they was buried in. Shallow grave in the cold hard Georgia clay of Catoosa County. And the blue and the gray paint the colors of their life, while the old men find a way to send the young men off to die. If I could, I would place $100 billion bounty on the hate that makes the war, digs the graves of Catoosa County. Night falling on the hills, and a full moon comes a-shining. I can hear the whippoorwill, and the coyotes go to whining. And all the souls of all the men roll in the holes they's buried in. Blue and gray in the blood-red Georgia clay of Catoosa County. And the blue and the gray paint the colors of that line. And it's true, you can pray, but even God ain't saying why. If I could, then I would place $100 billion bounty on the hate makes the wars that dig the graves of Catoosa County. Thank you. I'm glad I don't have to see. My glasses are about to fall off, and I can't go get them adjusted because of the COVID. I'm afraid to go, and I probably should just find a place. I don't know. The last place I went was Walmart, and it was scary in there, and so I haven't been back. I went in there and I'm like, I ain't coming back. The lady was real nice though. She did it for free and everything, and fixed me up, but it was just kind of spooky, and I hopefully we're gonna get through it all quickly. This whole thing, it's pretty weird. It's for all of us, and we've all got old folks near and dear to us that we certainly don't want them to get this nastiness. And anyway, good night, everybody. That's all. That certainly did put a gloom over the evening, didn't it? The COVID Show, starring Shawn Mullins. Yeah, well, but yeah, the new dog's helping out for us, just to kind of take our mind off of it. And this one in a long time, and I really like this song. I wrote it with my buddy Matthew Kaler, and I know y'all remember Matthew. He crazy. Oh, Miss Johnston, she lived all alone on the sorry side of town. Broke down cars and burglar bars on the windows and doors, in case danger comes around. Sitting in her yellow kitchen, listening to bad news on her AM radio. Used to be Louis Armstrong, and then Martin Luther King. Where did everybody go? And out the window where her garden was, it's not safe to go outside. Poor Miss Johnston in the eye of the storm. It's the safest place to hide. life's a gamble for the broken and the weak, dealing with the gangsters and the drugs. The winos weave and amble, and they shuffle on down the street, steering clear of all the thugs. Thank you. Thank you. Recently, not too long ago, I got an old keyboard called a Wurlitzer from my friend Marty, and it's one of the very first models of an electric piano. I'm not a pianist by any means. In fact, I wouldn't even call myself a piano player. I kind of tinker at it and, plank on it. But when I got it from Marty, it was so funny. He said, I think I put something in Facebook about this when I first got it. And I said, man, I'm so excited because it's about a 1957 or 1958. It's got the particle board. It's not the plastic kind you see from the 70s. It's like before that, when they were trying them out, It's kind of Ray Charles played on What I Say and all that. It's got that, it's just, but it ain't Ray Charles playing it at my house. But it still looks cool sitting in the corner. And but Marty said, whatever you do, Shawn, don't plug nothing into this thing. And I said, okay, well, what if I want to use it on a record? And he goes, well, there's speakers in it, so you just put a mic up to the back of it. That's what they used to do also. I said, oh, great, that's great. I said, I'll just put on a piece of duct tape over the inputs, because there's a bunch of different inputs on the side. There's inputs that don't even mean anything anymore. Like, you can't find a cable for it. And he said, whatever you do, don't do it. And I said, well, you got to tell me why, though, first. And he goes, well, at one point, I was trying to tune the thing, and I took the top off of it, and I plugged a 1/4-inch cable into the side of it, and when I woke up, I was on the other side of the room. So it blew Marty across the room, and I said, okay, well, I definitely won't plug anything into this thing. Keep the cat away from it, and the dog, too. But it's fun to play on a little bit, and I might next week. I'm not ready yet. I was gonna, the grand pianos are so big and intimidating for someone like me. I've got a little upright at the house, so I don't play it on it all the time. So I'm not gonna play it tonight, but I might work up the courage for a show next week to play a song or two. We'll see, Shalom. If you mic it up good, it might sound better. Well, my name's Billy Joe Mckay. I just turned 16 yesterday. I'm gonna get the nerve one day to get out of here. Mom passed on 3 years ago. Said it was cancer. It took her slow. And ever since then I've been saying no to my daddy and my tears. If you come down our road, you gotta watch the bump. Right there across from the garbage dump. You can find me out back jumping on the trampoline. The springtime we'll be skipping school. We'll sneak off to the Cantrell swimming pool. Man, you can't get much cooler than me and my friend Arlene. Granddaddy's hands are worn from 50 years of growing corn. Back behind the house where I was born, before he had to sell it. And my cousin Eddie, he got shot in the Super Walmart parking lot. Man, this little town's changed a lot. Said it hurt like hell. Joe Mckay. It's a hot Mississippi summer Saturday. Daddy's on the front porch with Uncle Dave, drinking Dixie beer. 16 years of being bored. When that window's open, forget the door. Hope there's some gas in the old man's Ford, 'cause I'm out of here. Thank you. Thanks so much. I appreciate you. Well, those of you who are tuning in via Facebook and YouTube and all those other sources, you can tip if you'd like tonight. We have a virtual tip jar. And also, I think Eddie, does EOP has their own, is that right? Yes, sir. Okay, so you can go to the EOP one. Does it say that? Something, it has something like that in there. Mine says PayPal/Rodiodi. So that's a good way if you want to tip something, you can tip something. That's awesome. And thank you for those of you guys live here tonight. You paid a premium to see the show. It feels good to me because it's like a studio audience, kind of like old school, you know, where it's not such a bigger audience. It's nice and small. But thank you for that, and thank you for paying to get in tonight. It means a lot to me, especially these days. It's been tough on the musicians as well as everyone else I know. Let's see what we got here. Are these people that have parked their car in the wrong place, or? Oh, this is tip jar. Oh, thank you, Amanda and Molly. And John Nunnally. That name rings a bell. I think Carol Edwards, John Savage. and Lee Kellett and Kirsten Schultz and Eric Braxton and Jessica Burns and David Levy. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, every little bit counts right now, so thanks. And, looks like there's something else over here. Oh, look at that. A month of Sundays, and then Jennifer Daniels says hello. Oh, hey, all right. I haven't seen Jennifer Daniels in so long. And Tim Byrne and Beth Gordon are tuning in, and Chuck Cash from Northern California. Warren from Australia is tuning in. Good on you. Having some brekkie, probably. That's what they call breakfast down there. And Colin says hello from Norwich, UK. Very cool, man. A lot of dog name suggestions. Mojo, Dolly, Bailey. Mojo's pretty cool. We thought about Dolly because Amy and I both love Dolly Parton a lot. And but I don't know. You know what it is, what it's like with a pet. You know, they either fit the name or they don't. And so we're still searching. We're going between Honey Pie and Daisy May, but then when Eddie suggested Ellie Mae, I don't know, that's a pretty good one. Ellie Mae Clampett. That's pretty good, and Amy loved it actually, just so you know. Oh, let's see here. This one I really haven't done in quite a while live. I tried it, I think, a couple of times. I definitely did it twice over the summer. In the from my little writing studio. And this one goes back to 1994, to my Big Blue Sky album. And yeah, it's been a while, and this one, there's one guy in particular that he requests it every week on the live stream show, and Mark Swimmer. I know him by name. So Mark, I hope you're tuned in, because here it goes, buddy. And if you don't tune in tonight, you've missed it. And I hope I don't mess it up too bad. It's been, like I say, the print could be bigger, but I'm going to do my best. We opened Pandora's Box just to see if she was home. She had an apple pie, a Johnston, and a big red telephone. She said, boys, I know why you are here. You want to take me for a ride. But before we go, I think you ought to know that I'm awful hard to hide. I'm awful hard to hide. How will you do him this time, boys? How will you call him dead? Will he die in his rack from a heart attack or from a bullet through his head? She whispered as we took her out, he need not be afraid. 'Cause deep inside the system hides the truth that you betrayed. The truth that you betrayed, nowhere for us to run. 30 silver pieces, got the job done, got the job done. Poor Pandora's life, it was not as it had been portrayed. Government, an accident, and now the bed is made. tried to put her back, you know, but we were defeated by our own greed. We tried again while shadow men did their dirty little deed. They did that dirty little deed. We opened Pandora's box just to see what they could find. And then there was a note Pandora wrote just before she lost her mind. It said my passing will allow a peek behind the veil of secrecy. It's farther out than you can see, just no telling where that trail will lead. No telling where that trail will lead. Telling where that trail will lead. Got to work on that left hand a little bit. Yeah. I went through a period back then where I was like, how much can I play? You know, how fast can I do it? And I think that might be why I don't do it that much anymore, because it's just too damn fast. Anyway, I enjoy the lyric a lot. It came from a poem my dad had written in 1963, right after, or maybe 1964, but it was right after, it was within a year or so after the Kennedy assassination. And my dad wrote this poem called Shadow Men. And a lot of the lyric comes from that original poem. So I like to call it a co-write between my now deceased dad and me, which is kind of cool. It's the only thing we ever wrote together. Anyway. The other reason I don't play that one a lot is because of the tuning. It takes 35 to 40 minutes to get back into regular tuning. So. Not really, but hopefully not too long. And I'm always afraid I'm going to break a string when I'm messing around with these strings a lot, you know. I pull a Gordon Lightfoot. Gordon Lightfoot at Chastain Park in the late 70s. It was a great show. 4,000 people sitting in there, or whatever that thing holds. And he's about 4 verses in to the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. And he's playing a 12-string guitar. He's only got one guitar with him. And it's that verse. I don't remember all the verses. I love that song, but it's a bunch of verses, right? And it's the verse. It's the verse about the captain came in and said, you know, we're all going to die, basically. The ship's going down. And the cook says it's too rough to feed you and all that. He's right in the middle of that verse, and bang, one of the strings breaks. What are you going to do, man? He's got one guitar up there, and, you know, when you break a string on a 6-string guitar, the other strings do go out of tune. They immediately go sharp and flat, and they do their own thing to adjust for the tension that's been lost on the neck of the guitar. On a 12-string guitar, you can only imagine what happens, right? It's chaos. And I remember thinking as a 10-year-old, I remember the feeling of, I felt for him. I felt for Gordon Lightfoot. I really did. I was like, oh my God, what is he gonna do? Because he stopped. He was like, the captain came in and the... He just kind of looks down, he's like, God, you know. He doesn't say anything, and the crowd kind of, ooh, they kind of hush, you know, and you can hear people eating and stuff. You can hear it like, cling, cling, cling. You can always do that at Chastain, but you can hear it stuff, you know. You can hear the audience all of a sudden. It's really weird. And he did the only thing he could do. He walked over to a little table where he had extra strings, and he stood over there and he put the string in and, you know, wound it around the thing. There was no automatic winders back then. He had to go like this for like ever. It took so long. He finally gets it, you know, dong, dang, dang, dang. He stretches it, dang, 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 dong, dang, 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 dang. It just took forever. I mean, he had totally lost him, you know, I thought, right? And he goes back up to the mic when it's all said and done, and he says, fellas, it's been good to know ya. Picked it right back up where he left off. It was a pro, man. He was a pro at work, and that's always, I'll remember that always, you know. I was like, that guy is the real deal right there. Okay, fellas, it's been good to know you. You can read it in the papers, watch it on the news. Everybody's got the pre-apocalyptic blues. You better be ready when the shit goes down. Well, you better head on down to Costco, get you a buggy full of rice and beans, a year's supply of 2-ply for your composting latrine, so you be ready when the shit goes down. There ain't no second chances for the bravery impaired, 'cause you know there's a couple of commies hiding underneath your bed, and the zombie's gonna eat up all the brains in your head. I got a Rambo knife with a compass on it and a ballistic bug-out bag. I got an AK-47, about 100 extra mags. I'm gonna be ready goes down. Well, now about this, and I got about the billion red Chinese. You say you ain't worried, and I say, honky, please, you better be ready when the shit goes down. By my jacuzzi, there's an Uzi and an RPG. Got a Stinger missile mounted on my wife's SUV. They won't get to me, no matter who they are. I got landmines buried all over my yard, 'cause I read it in the papers, y'all. Watch it on the news. Now I got the cryptic pre-apocalyptic blues. I'm gonna be ready when the shit goes down. Will you be ready when the shit goes down? Yeah, that's kind of written years ago, but it's really kind of made sense during the whole COVID thing. Kind of weird, you know, want everyone to stay away, whatever you do. Oh, I should talk about my sponsor. I have this great company that prints all my merchandise. They're a local company. and a guy named Adam Blank, good buddy of mine. And they print the T-shirts and the bumper stickers and all that stuff. They've also, he's doing this cool concert series out of the basement of his house. Sounds kind of lo-fi, right? Well, it's not. It looks so professional and it's so well done. He's had a lot of great local acts as well as national acts, Collective Soul. And he had Daryl Scott on there not too long ago, I think, when he came through to do EOP Presents. I think he did the Red Clay and then also did that show. But it's it's basically they shoot it with cameras really high def looking, and it sounds great. I've got my little sign back here. But subscribe to them on YouTube. It's really a cool thing. Go on YouTube when you can. Not now, of course, during the show. But after the show, check it out because you can subscribe. I don't know how that works. I don't really know. I'm not a social media guy, really, but I do know that everything I've seen on there is amazing. Angie Apparo's show's great. Kevin Kinney and Driving and Crying's on there. They're great. So if you like all that kind of thing, if you like a good concert series with an interview mixed in with it, you'll really dig that. Check it out. It's called Live at the Print Shop. And again, just a shout out to those guys for sponsoring every week, helping us out here. All of ye fallen fathers and mothers, I hear you calling from deep in your graves. Songs about Jesus, songs about freedom, shackles and crosses, the way blood behaves. Sailed the great ocean, sold down a river, white fields of cotton, green fields of cane. The sweat from their bodies, the tears of their children, washed in the blood of the promised land rain. Sad hallelujahs the angels did sing. For promise is buried in fields that lay fallow. The bell is too broken to let freedom ring. Yes, it are the dreams of the dreamers, all misbegotten. 'Cause mama still cries same shade of red. Thanks, y'all. I appreciate it. Hey, more notes. Oh, how nice. Tip jar money. Isn't that sweet? It's so good to have y'all tuning in, and thank you so much for tipping. Lisa Segal, hopefully no kin to Stephen. Let's see, Adele Clements and Tony Hewlett. I know Tony. How you doing, buddy? Mark Eppard or Eppard. Forgive me out there in space world. I like it. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of old Star Trek recently on Netflix. It's really good. I hated it when I was a kid. I just thought it was so boring. I don't know what it was. I was a Lost in Space kid. I like that show better. Especially, I love the theme song. Well, they had two theme songs for Lost in Space. They had but the first one was bum 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 ba-da-da, right? Yeah. I had a crush on Penny when I was little. Anyway, but man, now I kind of get Star Trek now more. I don't know. I'm a late bloomer, I guess. But thanks to Nikki Allen and it says "Bless Your Heart" from Bless Your Heart Peanut Brittle in Smithville, Texas. That's cool. I love peanut brittle. Kelly Roper and Mary Nugent, and Jeffrey Sellers and Cammie Barnes and Shirley and Dave in Rexford, New York, and John Bearden and Christopher, boy, I don't know how to pronounce this one, Christopher Skayer, I hope. Sheila Johnson, and Gail Michaels, and Melissa and Michael Ryan, Catherine Wilson, and Rent Music in Seattle. Well, thank you guys so very much. I appreciate you all. Too kind. I've been watching a really great, I'm subscribes to a YouTube thing. A friend of mine named Tom Bukovac, one of the greatest guitar players on the planet, and he's got this thing called homeschooling, where he teaches you how to play electric guitar. If you're way better than I am on electric guitar, I can barely play it. It's a totally different animal. But it's an entertaining thing because he is so good. He'll show you how to do just little tiny things that you're always wondering how they do that, you know. And he's been on tour with, you know, Joe Walsh and all kinds of great artists. But that's what he's been doing when he's not in session. They still do it up there in Nashville. They still have a lot of recording sessions happening. And everyone up there refers to him as the session man. And he's been up there for about 30 years, you know, and doing 2 to 3 sessions a day. And he's something. Played on my Stupid Heart record. He's one of 2 electric guitar players on that record, including Jerry McPherson, who's he's also an A-list guy in Nashville for guitar, electric guitar. Those guys are incredible. But Nashville's like that. You can go up there and, you know, they're not all that good, but almost everybody up there is really good. You know, you can just go to any venue and hear some great picking at any night of the week. It's crazy. It's a whole nother deal. How and if you stick with it, you get better. You know, I think that's the key in it, is you don't give up. And isn't that right, Eddie? That's the thing, is you just keep going. I remember it was like 1993 or 94. You said, "You're going to be the next one out of here, Shawnee." And I was like, "Really?" And he goes, "Yeah." Well, I wasn't the next one out, but it eventually happened, because whatever out of here means, I couldn't wait to get the hell back. As soon as I got to LA and New York, I'm like, I got to get back to Atlanta and Decatur. But yeah, I think it is. It's no matter what you do in life, if you put in the time and the hours it takes to get good at it, you know. That's sounding like it's almost in tune now. Sharing with us what he knows. His shining eyes are big and blue, and all around him water flows. This world to him is new. This world to him is new. To touch a face, to kiss a smile, new eyes that see no ways, the essence of a child, the essence. He's born to shimmer, he's born to shine, and he's born to radiate. He's born to live, he's born to love. Let's don't teach him how to hate. And true love, it is a rock, smoothed over by a stream. There's no ticking of a clock that truly measures what that means. That truly measures what that means. And this thing we call our time. I heard a brilliant woman say, yeah. She said, you know, it's crazy how I want to try and capture mine. I think I love this woman's way. I think I love this woman's way. She shimmers, the way she shines, and the way she radiates, the way she lives, the way she loves, and the way she never hates. Sometimes I think of all this surrounding me. I know it all is being mine. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. But she kisses me and she wraps herself around me. She gives me love. She gives me time. Yeah, I feel fine. Yes, I do. Oh, I feel fine. Yeah. Oh, alright. Time I cannot change. So here's to looking back, way back. You know, I drink a whole bottle of my pride. I toast to change, to keep these demons off my back. Just get these demons demons off my back. 'Cause I wanna shimmer, I wanna shine, I want to radiate, I want to live, I wanna love, I wanna try, learn now not to hate, try not to hate. We're born to shimmer, we're born to shine, we're born to radiate. We're born to believe, we're born to love, and we're born to never hate. Who's born to shimmer, who's born to shine. Thanks, y'all. I appreciate it. Shalom and I, before the show, we were discussing these guitars, and this one's a 1955, and I love this guitar so much, but it really needs some work. And again, I'm afraid to have someone's grubby hands on it right now, and other than my grubby hands. And so it's going to be a little while, and I'm tuning a lot, which I do anyway, but I'm tuning a bit more than normal because they both need to go into the shop, I think, and get a little love from a good luthier. All right, let me do this one. You know, I've got it on my mind. And sometimes, like I said, sometimes you just got to go off the set list and do something that you're feeling. I remember my old buddy Matthew Kaler always did that. He never used a set list. And Chuck Cannon is famous for not using a set list. That's why his 45-minute show, when he opens for me, will turn into an hour and a half a lot of times. And but I don't care because he's so good. And but. This one's by a hero of mine, and as well as a good friend of mine in Eddie's. And some of you may remember Larry John Wilson. And, Larry John was he was a one of a kind. He was originally from the Ohoopee River area, kind of down South Georgia. Then he moved to Augusta, grew up in Augusta, and did a number of things in his young adult life. I believe he played football for the University of Georgia, right? I can't remember, he was a lineman. And he also helped to develop what we now know as fiberglass as a chemist. He learned to play guitar at the age of 30 and started writing songs right there along with learning how to play guitar. And I quit his day gig and moved to Nashville to try to become an artist and a songwriter there. And I think he spent a good 5, 6, maybe 8 years up there. Right in the middle of that outlaw country movement that was happening in the mid-'70s. You know, you had Christopherson and Willie Nelson and Merle Haggard and David Allan Coe and Waylon Jennings, all these great guys, Billy Joe Shaver and Tony Joe White. There's a bunch of them, and and Larry John knew them all, and they all knew him. Townes Van Zandt and Guy Clark, and they all had three names. That's right. A lot of them did. But Larry John was one of the ones from Georgia, and a lot of them are from Texas. And Larry John had that Georgia spin on his outlaw, what they called outlaw country, which I never really considered what he did was so different than that, because he was so soulful. It was very mixed with soul music, you know. And this is one of my favorites. It's one of the last songs he wrote, and he wrote it about a particular Georgia island that he loved, and some of his people back in the 1700s came to from England. That's what it inspired the song anyway. And it's hard to do it justice if you've ever heard him do it, but I'm gonna do my best. I loved him as a person so much, and I loved his music. And we got to do that. I don't know if you ever saw Live at the Bluebird. There was a show they used to do on a network called Turner South for a few years. They had that network, and Larry John and I did a 2-show special on there, and it was supposedly the most requested show. And I imagine a lot of that had to do with he and his songs, his storytelling, and his whole thing is so much of an influence of you know, for me. It's like it's much as anybody out there. It's why I do the kind of thing I do. Toombs County Farm, 34 jackballs laying dead down a cotton road. The Long John's running, where's he gonna go? I bet you he goes down to the Sapelo. His woman's down on the Sapelo. So row him easy, row him slow, row him on cross to the Sapelo. Before the boss man went down, I heard Long John say, he said, if a man's a man at all, he won't let himself be treated that way. He said, if a man's a man at all, he won't let himself be treated this way. So now he's out there running a long chain on. Bet you he goes down to the Sapelo. So row him easy, quiet and slow, row him on cross to the Sapelo. Row him easy, row him slow, row him on cross to the Sapelo. He's got refuge on the Sapelo. His mama's down on the Sapelo. I ain't even gonna try that second part. Another man done gone from the county farm. He was so good. Larry John was one of these guys that, well, there's just no one else like him. I can't explain it. We were down one time we were at the Floribama at the festival down there, the Songwriters Festival, and he was letting me crash on the couch in a condo he was borrowing from a friend. And he got up and he was cooking breakfast, and he said, "What?" He said, "I got some country ham," and I was trying to be healthy at the time, you know. And he had this country ham going and all the fried eggs and all this stuff, and he had about a loaf of bread stacked up in toast, buttered toast, on a plate, you know. And one slice of it, he had halved them, and one half of that slice was sitting in the grease in that ham pan. It was country ham fried in a big skillet, and it was sitting in that grease, and it looked to me like it had fallen off the top of that stack of bread into the grease. So when I went in to, he went to the other room to get a phone call, and I thought I might sous chef a little bit and clean up a little bit for him, you know, straighten up, and you know, wipe off the counter, do something, you know, and that's just how I was raised. And I saw that toast sitting in that pan, and I'm thinking, well, that needs to go in the trash because it's already fallen off the stack, you know. And I take that greasy toast, it soaked up all that grease, and I took it and I chunked it in the garbage, you know. So I'm wiping down the counter, and Larry John walks back in the room. He's like, first thing out of his mouth, "Where's my toast?" I'm like, "Well, it's right here, Larry John. There's a big stack of it." And he goes, "No, the one that was in the grease." I'm like, "You were going to eat that?" He was like, "Hell yeah, I was going to eat it." That's the only time he's ever been mad at me. I could see it in his eyes. He was mad, man. He was not happy with me. It was weird. All right, well, enough about old Larry John for the moment. He was a dear friend and a hero. I've lost count of the times I've given up on you, but you make such a beautiful wreck, you do. Yeah, there's a tavern on the corner called the Milky Way, and you look so at home there, it makes me afraid. And at the dark end of this bar, what a beautiful wreck you are. When you go too far, a beautiful wreck you are, baby. Now all the plans that you had from 7 years ago, like all the promises you made, I watched them come and go. You put your keys in the car, but it would not drive. With your hands on the wheel, looking barely alive. Yeah, yeah. Hey, I'm still sitting here waiting on the passenger side. You to make up your mind. For you to make up your mind. At the dark end of this bar, what a beautiful wreck you are. When you go too far, beautiful wreck you are. What a beautiful, such a beautiful wreck you are. What a beautiful, such a beautiful wreck. I lost count on the times I've given up on you, but you make such a beautiful wreck, you do. Yeah, make such a beautiful wreck, you do. You make such a beautiful wreck. At the dark end of this bar, what a beautiful wreck you are. When you go too far, beautiful wreck you are. Man, what a beautiful, such a beautiful, beautiful wreck you are. What a beautiful, such a beautiful. All right. Thank you. That's about it. I think I've got one or two more maybe in me. Y'all have been so kind to me tonight. Thank you for being here live in the wonderful Red Clay Music Foundry. And yeah, man, it means a whole lot. It's getting going, right? Y'all are the beginnings of it. It's going again. It's gonna be all right. In fact, this song's all about it's gonna be all right. Everything's gonna be all right. And someone asked me not too long ago, and I get it a lot, when people do ask about this guitar part, they always ask, what's the tuning? And I don't know what it is, actually. I don't think I made it up. Although there's two G strings here, which is a strange and almost, it's practically useless, but to have that drone on your bass like that. But what I was trying to do when I wrote the song, I was trying to make my guitar sound like an Appalachian dulcimer. And I was trying to get that dulcimer drony sound. And I didn't have a dulcimer. And I was listening to some Joni Mitchell, the Blue album, and it's got a lot of Appalachian dulcimer on there. And her guitar is always tuned, as far as I know, to an open tuning, which I found really interesting. She didn't play in standard, or doesn't play in standard tuning at all. And when I read up on it, and I don't know if this is totally true, but it's a great story, that she had polio when she was a little kid. And so she learned to play the guitar in open tunings because it took less movement. Her hand was affected, and she could basically bar the strings like this with one finger. And that's how she learned it first. But it created this whole thing that she does, and and there's a bunch of people that play in a lot of open tunings. Richie Havens was a famous guy. I love his stuff, and he was all open tunings, I think, a lot. But yeah, G, G, D, G, B, D is the tuning. Good luck with that. Sounds like it's pretty much there. So the guitar part, I was messing around with that first, and I was in the desert, I remember, in Arizona somewhere, pulled off at a rest stop, messing with that guitar part. And then my next gig was in L.A. And they call that the City of Angels, and I didn't find it to be that exactly, just like it says in The Big Lebowski, but but it's the kind of thing where but I did have a good friend that got me some gigs out there, and I played this little place called Genghis Cohen, which is it may still be there. It was a Chinese restaurant as well as a music venue, and they had it could seat about 30 people, and they had church pews. in there for people, and they'd have a curtain they'd pull, and then the rest of it was a Chinese restaurant that was actually really great Chinese food, like really good. And all kinds of people would play Genghis, like, you know, I think Joni Mitchell herself would stop by, or Ricky Lee Jones, or Tom Waits, or different people would come by. They liked that place. It was a cool joint. And it was a pass-the-hat kind of room. You didn't have a cover charge there. So this is the kind of place I would go out there when I was playing L.A. I would play these kind of places, and that was my favorite. And I can hear the train a-coming. And so I'll make the story. We'll take a break for our sponsor. Here's a word from our sponsor. Is that Norfolk Southern, probably? Norfolk Southern. Getting your stuff to you. My dad was a career Norfolk Southern Railway, and so was my grandfather, his dad. So anyway, I play this gig, and after the gig, a woman about my age comes up to me and really liked the stories a lot. She was like, "Man, that's cool. You know, you're doing something that no one's really doing out here." At the time, it was more heavier and rock oriented, and she liked the stories and kind of reminded her of her childhood. And she goes, "I got some stories for you if you want to sit down and have some dinner. I think it might inspire you." I'm like, "Sure, that's great. I'm always looking for a good story and some songs, you know." And so, yeah, she told me about growing up and Sonny and Cher's kids and Michael Jackson when he was a little kid, and she went to high school with Angelina Jolie, and she was just around all that stuff, and it really inspired this tune, more so the lyric. That night when I was journaling, I journaled this lyric straight out pretty much. I never went back and messed with it. And I know once in a while one like that will fall into your lap, you know, and it feels like, well, it is oftentimes given to you from other people, but it's also given to you from kind of this unknown source. And they, you know, the ability to make it rhyme or meter out in a song. And then a couple of days later, I'm in Denver, Colorado with my friend Alan, and we're watching Ani DeFranco on stage. And I'm just about ready to quit because I'm watching her, and I'm thinking, I ain't never going to be that good. There's no way I'm ever going to be that good. My God. Just blew my mind, man. And I was really down after the show. And I'm riding back with Alan in his pickup truck, and that's when the chorus, "Everything's gonna be all right," came to me, and it all fell together within a few days. And so here it is. She grew up with the children of the stars in the Hollywood Hills and the Boulevard. Her parents threw big parties, you know, everyone was there. Hung out with folks like Dennis Hopper and Bob Seger and Sonny and Cher. She feels safe now in this bar on Fairfax. From the stage I can tell that she can't let go and she can't relax. And just before she hangs her head to cry, I sing to her a lullaby. I sing everything's gonna be alright. Rockabye, rockabye, and everything's gonna be alright. Rockabye. still lives with her mom outside the city. Down that street about a half a mile. And all her friends tell her that she's so pretty. She'd be a whole lot prettier, you know, if she'd smile once in a while. But you know, even her smile, it looks just like a frown. She's seen her share of devils in this angel town. And everything's gonna be alright. Rockabye, rockabye. And everything's gonna be alright. Won't you rockabye, rockabye, rockabye. I said, I ain't so sure about this place. It's hard to play a gig in this town, keep a straight face. Seems like everybody's got a plan. It's kind of like Nashville with a tan. But everything gonna be alright. Rockabye. Everything's gonna be alright. Won't you rockabye? Rockabye. Everything's gonna be alright. Rockabye. Oh, rockabye. Everything gonna be alright. Won't you rockabye? Rockabye. Rockabye. Say bye-bye, baby. Say bye, bye. I'm gonna unplug this thing, Shalom. I'm gonna do one more here for you. Thank you guys so much. This is one of my favorites that I didn't write. In fact, I don't really like any of my songs, but that's practically true. And a lot of folks, I think, in my position are like that, if they're honest anyway. But that you're always kind of going, you know, I'm not quite there yet. You keep going for it and trying. But I love this one. This is one of my favorite writers. He's really a fantastic songwriter. I don't think it gets any better. Is James McMurtry. I don't know if you guys know James McMurtry's stuff. He'll be here in September? All right, fantastic. Yeah. Yeah. Well, he's amazing, and I don't know him real well. I know him a little bit. I think it's hard to get to know him real well, but he really is a great artist and songwriter. He's they say he's hard they say he's not that friendly, and I don't know if that's true. He's always been friendly to me. I would say Bob Dylan's not friendly. I think everyone knows that. But James is not unfriendly. I think he's shy. I think part of it is that he's kind of shy, and he didn't want to talk about his dad too much, Larry McMurtry. I remember when we were playing, Chuck Cannon and I were down at the 38 Songwriters Festival, and we did some stuff together. And then I jumped on stage with Chuck during his set, and right after his set was going to be James McMurtry. And Chuck, in charming Chuck form, goes, "All right, y'all, thanks a lot. I appreciate it." He's like leaving the stage. He goes, "Y'all stick around now for Larry McMurtry." You know. And then he said he knew that he did it as soon as he did it. He's like, "Oh no," you know. And he walks off stage, and James is kind of sitting there like that. And he goes, "James, I am so sorry. I meant to say James McMurtry. Y'all are such both great writers, and your dad, Lonesome Dove, and Last Picture Show, and then all your music. He's just doing what you do. You're trying to recover." And James is just kind of quiet. And then finally, James says, he goes, "But there must be something." Chuck says, "There must be something in the water in the McMurtry, house, because y'all are just amazing and great writers, And he's just, Chuck. He's not a man of few words. And on the other hand, Mr. McMurtry is. And McMurtry lets him finish, and he goes, "That's all we're qualified to do." On his picks, it says Grim Jim. I saw one time on the stage. It said Grim Jim on it. But anyway, he's so good. I'll leave y'all with this one. This is a great one. I've been doing this for so long. Some people think I wrote it, but I did not. I will assure you. Thanks to everybody who tipped tonight on the intraweb. Young Johnny, he really had a way. He did his homework on the school bus, and he always got an A. And the girls liked Johnny more than anyone, said maybe Elton John. Later on in high school, he couldn't keep his red suspenders on. He had a room full of trophies from the track meets and the tennis games he'd win. He was a full-blown whiz kid. He is bound to be a Renaissance man. And then he went on off to college. He got his head stuck in a different state of mind. When they asked him, was it alcohol, he told them it was nothing of the kind. It's just life. It's just life, Mom. Has he gone away? Oh, where's Johnny? Will he be back someday? Well, now Johnny's all right. He just turned out his lights. They'd have paid him no mind had he not been so bright. He opened up his eyes and snapped out in a pictures in the scrapbook in the drawer with her pearls. And she polishes the trophies that he won back when they thought he'd saved the world. Back when the girls liked Johnny more than anyone said maybe Elton John. She wonders where's her little boy with the braces and the red suspenders gone. Just life, Mom. Just life. Just life, Mom. Oh, just life. Hey, just life, Mom. Just life. Thank y'all so much. Thanks to